We're three eighth-grade students from the American International School of Riyadh. Our topic is coral reef destructions. We chose to do this topic because coral reefs are really valuable and important to humans and our environment. However, they're in big danger because they're threatened by many different factors.
Most people think that coral reefs are plants, but that's not true. Coral reefs are animals that live in the ocean. They cover an area of 280,000 square kilometers and they support thousands of species. Coral reefs are described as tropical rainforests of the seas for their astounding richness of life. The zooxanthellae, a small algae inside of the coral, is a really important part of the reef. The coral and the zooxanthellae have a really important relationship: photosynthesis. The small algae is providing the coral with 90% of its needed energy, and the coral is giving a living room and food. Coral reefs are really sensitive to temperature change caused by climate change. Even if the temperature changes by 1 degree Celsius, the coral gets into stress. If it gets in stress, the small algae leaves the coral tissue and the coral does not get its needed energy and it dies.
Coral reefs are 500 million years old and date back to the late Cambrian period during the Paleozoic era. Evidence shows that they started as simple, solitary organisms. But in response to the changes in their environment, they evolved into the coral reefs that we know today. Over the 500 million years during which corals are known to have existed, they have experienced a number of extinction events. These events were largely the result of dramatic changes in their environment.
Or the Vision Silurian extinction event. About 435 million years ago, as the supercontinent Pangaea was beginning to form and the circulation of the world's ocean was being affected by drifting land masses, an ice age began. Sea levels and ocean temperatures dropped significantly as glaciers started growing. It resulted in the disappearance of corals and 60% of all marine life.
Corals reappeared during the Devonian period, around 410 million years ago. For the first time, an extensive reef system began to grow. Then 350 million years ago, corals disappeared again, according to the geological record. The reason for it is not completely clear.
Approximately 260 million years ago, it took corals almost 100 million years to repair again. The Permian-Triassic extinction was the greatest extinction event in the Earth's history. 96% of all marine species died. This might have been caused by meteor impacts, dramatically reduced sea levels, and increased volcanic activity.
Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum event. This event was the most extreme global warming event ever in history. The most likely cause is the release of large quantities of gas hydrates locked up in ice and would have been released as the Earth warmed. Coral reefs suffered heavily and the most disappeared.
Climate change of the Earth is currently the same as the Paleocene and Eocene thermal maximum event, made by greenhouse gases, as in the PETM. Approximately, coral reefs will pass a point of extinction in 2040 and won't return for many millions of years.
Corals are one of the most productive ecosystems on Earth, providing economic benefits to local communities, providing benefits to humans and fisheries. Because of the benefits of coral reefs on tourism, food, and coastline protection, it's known that the tropical coral reefs can yield more than 30 billion US dollars annually in global goods and services. Economic services that coral reefs provide, such as food, jobs, and tourism, are estimated to be worth $375 billion each year. As considered for tourism, this valuable ecosystem is contributing to tourism economy by providing diving tours, fishing trips, hotels, and provide millions of jobs and contribute to millions of dollars all over the world.
Climate change is the biggest threat to coral reefs. By 2030s, it is expected that 90% of the coral reefs are at risk from both human activities and climate change. The warmer temperatures brought on by global warming change coral reef communities by producing coral bleaching events. If the sea temperature continues rising, corals will get in stress. If there is too much heat, the zooxanthellae separates and takes away the coral's color, which is called bleaching, and their energy soars. Bleached corals are very weak and can combat diseases. As you know, warming of the oceans leads to diseases. And some of the diseases are black band disease, white band disease, white plague, and white pox. These are just a few of the diseases which the corals can sadly get.
Sea level rises cause problems by making it too deep for reefs to get a decent amount of sunlight, which is necessary for every living thing. Ocean acidification is the increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide increases and pH decreases. The ocean absorbs 1/3 of the carbon dioxide, making the water toxic. It reduces the corals' ability to build their skeletons, which gives a weaker coral structure. 25% of the marine animals live in coral reefs. The whole marine ecosystem is threatened by loss of reefs. According to a comprehensive survey by the Global Marine Species Assessment, GMSA, 1/3 of the more than 700 species of reef-building corals are threatened with extinction.
There are basically two ways humans are damaging coral reefs. Humans have endangered coral reefs indirectly and directly. Most of the reasons why coral reefs are endangered by humans are a result of indirect actions of humans. Overfishing can enable algae to outcompete and kill the coral. Many reef fish eat the algae, and if the algae-eating fish are removed, algae becomes overgrown and can sometimes outcompete the corals for space. The algae can then smother the coral by decreasing the oxygen supply available to the reef. Decreased oxygen levels can slow down coral calcification rates, weakening the coral and leaving it more susceptible to disease and degradation. In an Australian government report, it stated that more than 80% of the world's shallow reefs are severely overfished, which has a huge impact on the destruction of coral reefs.
Besides overfishing, destructive fishing methods have been killing and damaging coral reefs too. One of the methods for humans to catch fish is using dynamite. Irresponsible humans drop dynamite in the areas of coral reefs to get fish. However, the dynamite kills the reef. Another method is poisoning. Cyanide is used for this. Cyanide kills 90% of the fish around the coral reefs and completely destroys the coral reef. There's an issue that's not really known or thought of, that's tourism. Even though coral reefs benefit the tourism may damage the coral reefs. Divers or snorkelers inadvertently damage the coral reefs. They are being damaged from simply the touch of humans because of the oil on people's fingers.
Mechanical damage is also another issue that is highly unsustainable. Boats come and go, and they drop their anchors along the sea bottom. It breaks and destroys large parts of the reef. And one of the most important issues known in the world also plays a role in damaging the coral reefs: pollution. So many different things like oil spills, other chemical pollution, garbage like plastic, sewage, and runoff from land kill pulps and cause algae to grow over the corals and suffocate them.
Increase in human population growth is affecting the corals really seriously. Increase in human population growth equals increase in overfishing, which equals the more destructive fishing methods, which damages corals. More people means more unsustainable tourism, more mechanical damage, and more pollution, which leads to the destruction of coral reefs and highly threatens this beautiful ecosystem we have.